The Garnet and Old Show. No inside info, no contacts, no problem. My name is Ryan. Joining us here in a shortly. He's headed off to grab a few things for the show, but we have very special guests coming on tonight, and we'll get to that just in a second. But for those of you watching, you know the drill. Hit the like button, subscribe. Appreciate you all being part of the show. Let's bring first Vince on in here. Vince, you just are praying to the technical gods, getting kicked as we go live. It's the fun continues for you, my friend. Yeah, very very special guest. Following last week, having Stephen Ponder on, and we have some guests coming up for you in the next couple weeks. But let's not beat the bush, anyways. Vince, bring him on in. The voice of the Seminoles, Mr. Jeff Culhane. How are you today?
For having me, and it's a pleasure to be a part of the program. And I got to be honest. Can you send me that caricature you guys developed, because that is probably the most realistic character. My doctor would appreciate it. I definitely he told me to go on the Mediterranean diet after the hoop season, so it looks about right from about April. So I'm trying to lose a
Mm-mm.
little bit of weight, but that was pretty good, boys. It's good to be with you.
I would like to say that I built that, with my own two hands, but we all know that technology has made me much more able to do things like that. So we're going to thank the technology gods for that one.
There you go. I like it. I see Peter over here watching, saying hello. Hello, Peter. Thanks for watching with us tonight. It's great to be a part of Garnet and Old, guys. I tell you, it's a lot of fun. We're fired up for the upcoming season. This time of year is talking season, of course, for everybody, and so fall camp is right around the corner. And Mike Norvell and company are ready to get after it as well. So let's do it. What do you want to chat about today?
Well, the first thing I wanted to ask you is you're no stranger to like uh, more than competent football, right? North Dakota State is a powerhouse. So you come from calling championships, and I know I'm going back a little bit, but the reason I bring that up is I'm curious, like how did
Oh no, we
Oh,
lost
oh
him.
yeah, that's fine. All good. So what's funny is some backstory here. His Mac has been having issues for like 2 weeks now. Will just drop out. So I'm going to continue his question.
Yes.
My friend, are you already taking, drinking the hot tea, preparing the throat,
Oh
working
yeah.
the muscles, getting the honey ready? What do you do to prepare yourself, or do you do anything at all, or do you just go into it? Hey, let's just call the game. I have to know game day. Like, what do you do?
Yeah, no. All of my good friends, and we got a great team on the Seminole Sports Network. William Barnum, Floyd, Tom Block, Andy Surratt, who is our longtime spotter. We call him the legend. Our engineer Chris Culp, Aria Masudi, our entire team, and of course he's always a part of it. The
Yep.
forever voice of the Seminoles, Gene Deckerhoff. We have a running text message chain, and I like to gear up a little bourbon every once in a while,
Oh
and
yeah.
have a little bullet bourbon. Please drink responsibly. That's a different moniker for everybody out there, but no, in all seriousness, you're always preparing. You're always
Yeah.
getting ready. Starts for me the Sunday after a game. I go
Yeah.
back and I start watching the next opponent's previous game, and get my charts ready to go. And every day you're just adding to it. You're chipping away,
Yeah.
and quite honestly, Ryan, it's already started for me with Alabama. I mean, I'm
Oh yeah.
going through. If I'm, like last night, I'm sitting around and uh, something just pops in my head, and I've thought about, what's the greatest quarterback rushing game in Florida State
Mm-hmm.
football history? What's the longest rush by a quarterback in Florida State football history? I put that on my phone. I go look it up the next day. I get some help from our great PR teams and guys like Derek Satterfield and Stephen McCartney, Krista Salerno at FSU, Bob Perone at NoleFan.org is a huge
Mm-hmm.
friend, and he's a Hall of Famer at FSU. And I'm always trying to connect with him on questions that I have. And so, and then other things like today, I was looking at some stuff and just thinking, when was the last time Alabama started a season against on the road in a
Yeah.
true road game? And the answer is 2000, the Bob DeBose era against UCLA in the Rose Bowl was the last time Alabama opened a season at a true road game. And so just stuff like that. And then, during the season, I have my routine, and but you're always thinking, always working, and just trying to put the best possible, broadcast together for the best fans in college football.
Yeah, it's funny, the whole road situation, because usually you look on Bama's schedule and it's either a mutual site game like in Atlanta, right, or some big venue, or it's a warm up game, in week 0, and then maybe they go play, a bigger team in the second week. But it is going to be interesting, and I think that's a very interesting part of this matchup because Alabama doesn't really have a good feel of their quarterback in live action. They're going to come in and have to play immediately against Florida State team that's going to be very hungry, very aggressive, and want to get after it, and of course attack from square one. So what do you think the atmosphere is be like going into that first game? I'm sure as a play-by-play man, your facilities have been upgraded for you, even, right, with the renovations. Are you going to have a different setup, different
No,
equipment?
actually, Ryan, they stay the same. But
Okay.
we already have, in my opinion, in Gene's booth, it's the best booth in college football.
Yeah.
And I pray that we get to keep that space for us, because it truly is a great view, plenty of room. We can invite some guests in there and have them with us and entertain, and it's fantastic. So the atmosphere, to answer your question, is going to be unbelievable. It's
Yeah.
going to be off the charts. By the way, shout out Breeze in Georgia. He's got a little Buffalo Trace in the glass right now. So
Yeah.
cheers, Breeze. Right on with you there. I like that.
Yeah, I'm happy to know that you're a bourbon man because I'm a maker's mark guy myself.
There you go.
Honestly, and I say this all the time on the show, being a Costco shopper, the Kirkland brand Canadian whiskey,
Oh, there you go.
20 for a big old handle, and it'll
Hey.
do the job.
I'm not going to disparage anybody's taste, or I think whatever you go with, you go with. I love it, and that sounds like a plan to me. But
Yeah,
to answer your question, it's going to be unbelievable. I think that whole week leading up to that first game, you're going to have all kinds of pomp and circumstance and events and
yeah,
get-togethers and block party on Friday night in College Town and everything you can think of. And then the day of the game, it speaks for itself.
yeah,
It's a game day at Doak. There's nothing
yeah,
better. And I can't wait. I encourage everybody to mix in a water in between a tail out there in the tailgate lots, because it's going to be hot, as everybody knows, and a little bit steamy.
yeah.
But no, the newly renovated stadium is going to look outstanding. We're going to be back to full throat at Doak, and it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, and reporting live from the Blair Witch Project set ham camera. Back for the show, as is Mac. Let's be honest, he's not exactly thrilled with his equipment setup now. So,
Got a great
Vince,
setup.
you were
Background
mid-question.
still,
You
though.
couldn't have
Look at all those
timed the
hats.
drop off. You
Vince.
could not have timed it any better. You dropped off as you were getting to the heart of your question. So
Yeah.
let's go right back into it. Give me your question from scratch.
No, just the thing that I was always curious about is how that came about. Did Florida State call you? Was the job open and you applied? How does that all work?
Yeah, it's. I'll try and tell the short version of the story. But when you see the news that Gene is retiring, it's big news. It's huge news. and I'm sure everybody was just like, oh my God, that wow. I mean,
Yep.
legend. And Gene, I love Gene. He's a friend. He's a mentor. We had lunch last week together. We actually spent some time up in the booth together at Doak and just hung out and listen to him tell stories. And it's one of my favorite things to do is just be around and listen, quite honestly. Um, but saw the news. It was a March back in 2022. It
Mm-hmm.
was right after Florida State had got knocked out of the ACC tournament. And the funny thing was, um, our conference tournament had just ended. I just called a conference championship game, and I was driving back. I was listening to Gene on the app, on the
Mm-hmm.
FSU game day app at Barclays Center playing Syracuse. So I was listening, and I had done that many times before. I love listening to Gene. I listened to Gene and Bar None and Tom in the fall when I
Right.
was, cutting my grass and mowing the lawn, and all the way up in Fargo, North Dakota. And it was part of my routine. I love listening to the greats, and Gene is certainly one of those, obviously. But you see the news, and
Yep.
I don't know, Vince. Honestly, there's always, been just a few places that for me in my career that always struck a chord with me, and Florida State has been one of them. And I don't know why, for whatever reason, I felt connected. I obviously watched all sorts of Florida State growing up, and such a fan of the success and the war chant and game day and just seeing all of it. It's what college football is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so, in a weird, indirect way, I felt a connection to
Mm-hmm.
Tallahassee and to Florida State, and I felt like it was a place where I would be a good fit and I could do some good. And based upon, I think, some of the things that the job title was, description entailed, and my skill set and what I felt comfortable and confident doing, I really felt like, if I could get to the right people and connect with the right folks and the decision makers, that I thought I had a chance to, be a part of the family. And
Right.
that's really what I did. I went to work on trying to, hey, how do I get connected to Michael Alford? How do I get connected to Caleb Swan, the GM of the Learfield property at the time? Um, and that's kind of how I went about it. And I was lucky enough through my various stops at Nebraska and West Virginia, which, also I had seen Coach Bowden when he was inducted
Right.
in the WVU Sports Hall of Fame in 2014 when I was in Morgantown. He was in
Mm-hmm.
the press box at Mountaineer Field. And so just all these indirect connections
Yeah.
to a great play. And I think I was able to connect myself early on in the process well to Michael and to everybody involved. And, I felt comfortable and confident with my tape that I sent in for football and
Mm-hmm.
basketball. I felt good about that, and just went through the process. And man, lucky enough to be able to be in a position to be the next guy, and dream come true, without a doubt.
Yeah.
We're not going anywhere. We're Noles for life, and I was announced to take over for Gene on a Monday, and our second son was born that Thursday. I should have bought a lottery ticket, guys. It
Yeah. That's a busy
was
week.
the best week of my life, and
Yeah.
so it's been an amazing run. And man, we're loving Tallahassee and loving being a part of the family.
Yeah, that's the next question I was going to ask you. That's a big change, obviously from North Dakota to Florida. So the family loving it, I assume.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, it's I'll take a Mike Norvell line. It's the people that make the place, and that's legit. And from where I grew up and where I'm from in the Upper Midwest, you have a lot of great people,
Yep.
and that's no different here. The thing that really stuck out to me early on was how everyone embraced me and made me feel a part of the family when they didn't have to. They could
Yeah.
have been like, who's this guy? He's an outsider. Let's make him really earn the stripes. And I still, you still have to do that. You have to put in the work, and you have to go out and take care of business. And not everyone's going to love you. And that's just part of the job. That's part of the gig. But man, the overwhelming support was out of this world. And it really, me, relax and just kind of be me in a situation that I think is obviously difficult to go. But I never felt like it was difficult. I never felt. I've always been comfortable in my own shoes. I've always been confident in what I'm capable of doing. I've never been afraid to follow the best because I believe in what I can do, and not to say that I feel like I'm better than any. I'm always I have fun doing it, and we're gonna do the best we can do, and do the job, hopefully the justice that it deserves. And so, but as far as like, come on now. I mean, living in Florida, what a state to discover, what a state to explore. The weather. I mean, I never have to. I shouldn't say never. We got a little snow in Tallahassee back in January, but shovels and ice picks and all that fun stuff. I'll sweat all day in July and trade that off, boys.
I'm sure, that's great. I love to hear it.
I'm sure when you got that email, the offer email, I'm sure or the call, man, you go back to, I think back a moment in my life when you're excited about maybe a potential opportunity and you're refreshing the email, you're doing the whole swipe down refresh or waiting on that call. You get the call. How long does it kind of hit you that like, oh, like this is real now.
We're gonna start.
We got to pack. Yeah.
So Ryan, funny story on that. So when I had my on-campus interview, it went really well. It was a great day, obviously, and I felt great. I remember I went back to my hotel room and I thought, you know what? If it's not me, it's somebody that really, really is great and deserves it, and I'll be happy for them, because I thought it was an amazing day, and I felt like family already, quite honestly. That was on a Thursday night, right? Thursday day. And so I had a flight back home on Friday, and my wife was, that would have been 2 weeks before she had our child, before she had Everett, our second son, who's now 3. And I remember they were at the pool. I went to the pool. Everybody was asking me how it went. I said, thought it went great. And was driving back home from the pool, and I looked at the clock. I'm like, well, shoot. It's 4:30 Eastern time in Tallahassee on a Friday.
Yeah. If it doesn't happen, it's not going to happen.
Maybe I didn't get it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't get it, because if I'm the guy, I would have thought maybe they would have called me or told me I was the guy. And so I'm like, all right, well, my wife was tired. She went upstairs to take a nap when we got home. I was laying on the chair, the couch, and I was tired. Obviously, I had a 6 a.m. flight and a lot of adrenaline, a lot of stress, and my phone vibrated like at 4:45 Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Tallahassee time, and I knew what it was right away. But I was so stunned that it wasn't a phone call. I had received an email it was my offer via email. But what had happened was, I always give Caleb Swan a hard time about this. They were doing the DocuSigns, and he had thought when he signed it, it went back to corporate, but instead it went to my email.
Yeah, sign off work did not work.
Yes. And so I called him right after that, and he's laughing because he knew what happened. And he goes, "How's your Friday going?" I go, "Well, if this is what I think it is, it's going really well now." And he's laughing, and he said, "How would you like to be the new voice of the Seminoles?"
Oh man, what a day!
And that's how I found out. And I went and woke Sarah up, and we started jumping around like 5-year-olds, and that was an amazing Friday.
That story hits me hard because I work in recruiting, Jeff, and I have been through the issues of sign-off workflows and like minimum number of once you approve it, and once it gets approved, who does it go to? And a handful of times in my career, it's I thought it was supposed to go to the director of HR, and it accidentally went out to the candidate, and I have to hop on a call like ASAP with the director, tell him, "Here, call him real quick." So I feel for whoever the back end and the recruiting system, the ATS, they probably went, "Oh, whoopsie."
And it was all good. And Michael Alford called me the next day, and an honor to chat with him. And he's obviously someone I have just a high level of respect for, and consider a friend as well. And so it's been an amazing journey, but we're just getting started.
Question for you about recruiting. So in this day and age, like everybody has access to social media and highlight clips, and people are redoing their own, and they're doing their own hype videos, and your voice is going to be part of those things. Do you feel like, or are you part of the whole recruiting process? Are you involved in any of that at all as that is going on?
Not really. No, I
Okay.
mean, I don't I'm not in any meetings. Trust me, I'm not looking at the board or anything like that. But I
Yeah.
tell you guys, the amount of time that our staff puts in, especially in the month of June, goodness, it's just, whoo, it's a
Pretty
lot.
fruitful. Yeah.
It's a lot, and Derek Ray, I think, does an amazing job as the general manager of personnel, and everything's changed now. I mean, it's so challenging with how recruiting has changed, with the new era, and so it's very much transactional. And so I will, I've lent a welcome video to some recruits
Right.
before, and I'm willing to help out in any way because I want us to have the most success that we possibly can.
Yeah.
But as far as any sort of identification or anything like
Yeah.
that, no. I
No,
leave
that's
it up
kind
to
of
the
what I meant.
professionals.
That's
Yeah,
kind of what I meant is kind of what you said is, the kids, they've heard your voice, right? So,
yeah,
part of, sending a welcome video out with your voice on it could be like could really get to them. So
yeah. We've done in their hotel rooms. I cut some welcome items to each recruit
nice.
generically, and try to provide a little hype, video that or audio that was on loop when the guys walked into their room, and just provide a little more juice to it if I
Right.
could. So yeah, it's that part of it. I've helped out a little bit on, and certainly as our staff needs in any way that I can provide a little bit of help from any sort of my perspective I provide. I'm going to do it, no question about it.
What's your prep like leading into a game?
Oh, you missed out. That was my question
Oh,
when you went
okay. You
offline.
already handled that,
So,
so
Well,
yeah.
I'll go back and watch the show.
well, a little bit. I've talked about Alabama. I'll just give you a game week. I really enjoy my Sundays, to be quite honest with you, because Saturday's obviously game day, and I love college football. I love everything about it, game day, and how important each game is, what it means to everyone, how it brings everybody together. Um, the relationships that are made on game day, that have nothing to do with game, I think is great.
Yep.
But Sunday morning, I'm in the zone, man. I wake up and I grab my laptop, start working on my charts for the next team,
Mm.
and I go back and I pull up their game from the day before, and just start going to work. And yeah, and so start doing that, and try and get as much work done on Sunday as I possibly can. Monday's a press conference day and coaches show with Norvell Monday nights, 7 o'clock if folks want to watch it, and you can watch it on all Florida State streaming platforms, football streaming platforms, and the Seminoles Unconquered app, and listen, of course, on the radio network and the FSU Game Day app. And then Tuesday through Thursday, I'm just chipping away. I'm looking at personnel, storylines, history, the series, the players on the opposite side. What are their connections to our team? Who's playing well? And I think that's always the challenge that I love for football is there's so many guys that play. There's so many angles to it. And if you can provide a little nugget to the audience that nobody knows about, that really you find interesting, they can take things to another level while working it into the flow of a game. That's always a challenge I try and put on myself on each and every game. So, I would say outside of the normal work hours, I probably put 10 to 12 hours a week, maybe
Mm.
if maybe more, depending on the game, into my preparation. 15 hours into my preparation, and it's a badge of honor in a lot of ways. It's the charts and making sure you've been able to go and leave no stone uncovered and unturned. And so
Yep.
that's a little bit of what the week's like, is making sure that Monday through Friday. By Friday, you feel like you're done. You should be ready to go. Be ready for what's going to be a fun day on Saturday.
And I'm sure you've had probably some last names you'd had to practice over and over to make sure you understood how to pronounce them.
Last year alone, DJ
Vince, it really
right?
is. Yeah, it's a big one. You want to make sure that and that's also a point of pride as well. You want to, that's an area that you can really tell somebody who hasn't prepared or ask the extra questions.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I haven't done it before. Obviously, I think everybody has at some point. But you're right. Yeah, you want to make sure that you're locked in, ready to go, and that's definitely an area you want to be good at.
Yeah, you don't want to head out there with any deuce spawns, or anything like that.
I've
but
Mr. Fowler for the Duke game.
Yeah. Now, on a lighter note, and I'm sure you've gotten this question before, you have a few favorite play calls that you've got the honor of calling, like that you were like you're memorable for you, not necessarily because you thought the call itself was something better or anything like that, but just the moment and how you felt in the moment, how excited you were to do the call.
Yeah, the first one is the block on the Bayou, in 22.
I was there. Me and Vince were both there. Yep.
Yeah, that's the first one. For that to be my second game, my first big game. Sorry, my Pepper's scratching herself. My Great Dane. Stop that. Shaking my camera.
I had a Great Dane as well. She passed last year.
Oh, she goes. She's hopping up right now. Sorry about that. There she goes.
All right.
But for that to you knew you're going to have one, and you just hope you're going to do it justice. But to be able to do that in game 2, is one I'll always remember.
Yeah.
That one is one that will always stick with me, and I'm happy for our players, for Mike and for our guys. That was a huge win. We needed that win early on, coming off of 2021, a 5-7 season, and so that one is the first one. Obviously, the Deuce span kickoff return versus Duke is one that I've always felt really good about. One that doesn't get a whole lot of fanfare or thought, but that I'm proud of. 2023 at Wake Forest. I believe it was an 85-yard touchdown reception by Trey Benson.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very obscure touchdown, but there was a call there that had an homage, a nod to Gene, counted down with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and our spotter Andy Surratt during the break, he didn't tear up, but he looked at me and he goes, "I know what you're doing there," and that was pretty good. And so
that's awesome.
That meant a lot to me at the time.
Yeah, that night in New Orleans, first of all, I hope you got a chance to enjoy Bourbon Street a little bit, like the rest of us did, because it was nothing but Noles that day. It was fantastic. But I do remember Vince was in the home section. I was in the away section on the LSU side, which I feel like I had more fun on the LSU section because they were certain that they were winning the game. I mean, 100%. They were ready to go. I was getting kind of like, I will give them credit. Pretty good fans. They didn't get too crazy or harassment but they were, giving me the business a little bit in a fun way. And then the fact when that block kick happened, when I got to turn around and just stare at just nothing but LSU fans with my arms up, and then do one of these, it was such an amazing feeling, and it feels similar. Does it feel like this Alabama game has similar kind of expectations or hopes as we felt going into that LSU game? I know LSU had, that's beautiful, Great Dane, by the way, but it almost feels similar, right? Because a disappointing season before the LSU game, right?
Yeah. It's for us with us going into the year. There's some similarities. Sure, I think you're right. I think there's some similarities in regard. I just remember, watching the 2022 team in fall camp and watching Jordan and Verse and all these guys and really feeling like, what? This looks like a good football team.
Yeah, we got something here.
Yeah, I know we haven't had the wins as of late, but I remember watching in camp, and obviously that was my first year, and so I had a fresh slate. to kind of look at it from a different angle. And I remember watching us. I'm just like, you know what?
Yep.
This is a pretty good team, and um, I expected us to beat LSU that night. I really did.
Yeah.
I just thought that with Jordan taking a step forward, Jared Verse is a man child, and some of the things that Coach Norvell had up his sleeve. Yeah, I felt like we were going to win that game and get it done. I think what's interesting about this game coming up is I think we're all still learning about our team. Really, I think we're all still trying to get a feel and get a vibe for our squad, and it's just one of those deals where I think we're going to learn more about our team in fall camp, which is exciting.
Yep.
But yes, I think there's a lot of similarities there. I think a storyline. I know we've talked a lot about Gus Malzahn in the offseason, but now that Gus can just focus on calling plays, like to me, that has not been given its weight in impact. And I think that the hiring of Gus Malzahn as our play caller, he is an offensive wizard. And now that he can just focus on schemes and play calling and setting our guys up, and the fact that we have a mobile quarterback in Tommy Castellanos who can really, really hurt you with his legs and has shown efficiency throwing the football, that fits exactly what Gus is trying to do. And that also has been a thorn in the side of the Alabama defense, not only last year, but when Nick Saban was there as well for over a decade.
Right.
And it's a struggle for every defensive group. And so I think
Especially on
that
the first
part of
game.
it, I think that part of it is extremely interesting. And I'm looking forward to watching our guys in fall camp. I saw them in spring ball. A lot of it was brand new for everybody. So there's definitely some bright spots, but also obviously some growing pains as everybody's trying to learn each other. So it's a very important fall camp period for our guys. I think we can beat anybody. I've always walked in, even last year, I was winning the games thinking, hey, if this goes this way, we can do it. We can find a way to get it done. And I feel that way about any game we play in this fall as well.
Yeah. The only tougher question I'm going to ask now, and it's not even so much tough as much as how hard was it last season to go into a game? Let's say you're half the season and going into that, that really meat of the season, and it's not going the way that we had hoped. How do you manage your play calling duty with calling the game, that you're watching, while at the same time understanding the challenge and kind of balancing fan sentiment? There's got to be some balancing act there, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, you have to. You're real about what's going on,
Yeah.
but we obviously we want FSU we want the Noles to win. I want the Noles to win every single game, every game, 100-0. I want every game to be a celebration. That 2023 season, and look, the end of 2022, into 23, winning 19 straight games. What a run! I mean, for whatever reason, I know how it ended, right? Like that 2023 team should be talked about more and more. We got to talk about that team more. I know it didn't end great with the snub and the bowl game, but man, that was an unbelievable year. I hope we continue to give that group its due, because that was just the third team in FSU football history to go 13-0 to start a year, and so an amazing season. But to answer your question, Ryan, you understand what you're up against. You understand the theme of what's going on, but you just call the game the way it is, and you talk about what's going well. You talk about what's not going well, and you can do that without disparaging your team,
Of course,
and speaking down to about certain things. So that's always the approach I've taken. I don't, our guys are working their tails off in practice every day. Our coaches still coached hard. They still did the same things they did when they won 19 games in a row. It was the same routine.
Right.
It was a tough year. That's what it boils down to. And you try to have some fun along the way. When I say fun, you're trying to keep everything, you're trying to do your thing and make it entertaining as much as you can. Certainly was challenging at times last year in 24, but that's the approach that you want to take.
Well,
Hoping to
your
hear a lot more
passion comes
touchdowns
through,
this year.
regardless of whether things are going well or not going so well. I can see your passion, and because of the behind stuff, right? So not only do we hear your voice, but we can see
Yeah.
your reactions as well, and I appreciate that because wearing your heart on your sleeve is really difficult when difficult things are happening.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that, Vince. It's, it's that's a platform that we started back in 22, and everybody watching and listening can go and and check that out on our Florida State football Facebook page and
Yep.
Seminole Sports Network Twitter handle and
I
the
listen
Seminoles
every single
app as
episode.
well. And it's a look into the booth, and you see bar none, you see his passion, you see all of our passion, and it's something we like to show and give everybody a look behind the curtain.
Yeah, and you can sync it up with the actual gameplay as well if you know how to do that, and then you can turn down the broadcast. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I do. So is there? You may have already talked about this when I was having my problems, but are there particular guys that are new to the team that you've had a chance to interview, do a spot with that you're sensing something about them, a maturity level, a business like approach, or something like that? It's like, hey, I'm going to be looking out for this guy.
Yeah, I mean, from an important standpoint, you certainly taught Tommy right away, and he's, as we have come to know, he's very confident.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very confident young man, and he's excited. This is a great opportunity for him to show what he's capable of, and so I'm very fascinated to see how he leads this team and see his capability. I just think it's a match made in heaven with he and Gus. I really
Yeah.
do. He move. He can throw it. He's got a great. One thing that stood out to me in spring, guys, was his capability to throw the deep ball. Bigger arm than what I thought, quite honestly. And so, he's been a Seminole fan for life. Devontae Freeman's his cousin, right? He's from South. Grew up in Miami, born in Miami,
Yep.
grew up and played in South Georgia. So this is a big deal for him. So being able to watch Tommy go out and be able to do his thing, I think Gus is really going to unleash and put him in some great positions to put pressure on the opposing defenses overall. I'm thinking across the board. Deuce Robinson is a fun guy to get to know. Obviously, his dad Dominic played here, the original 4th and 14 back
That's
in
right.
03 at Florida at Griffin Stadium. Before you had Ricks to Sam, and then one of the all-time great moments is something that you remember forever and think about. I think Randy Pittman has a chance from Panama to be a Swiss Army knife in this offense, much like Jaheim Bell was in 23. Gus knows him from Jeff. He knows what he can do. He's solid. He's capable. Randy Pittman's a guy to watch on defense.
Yep.
I tell you what, Deontay McCray, I got a chance to
Yep.
talk to him a little bit, the Western Kentucky transfer at D-line. His father's in the Navy. I mean, this young man is impressive. And I have a lot of success in Tony White's defense. I saw earlier, I think it was Ryan asked the question, do we have the athletes to run this defense? We definitely do. I mean, they recruited the right guys to get in here with Deontay McCray, Diamante Diggs, bringing James Williams from Nebraska. Daryl Jackson speaks for himself. They're going to move him around and put him in great situations,
Yeah.
create all sorts of mismatches at 6'6", 335, and he runs like a linebacker. Elijah Herring, I see Grillmaster in there is writing about that.
Yep.
Elijah Herring as well from Tennessee and Memphis. And Earl Little Jr., Mike Norvell mentioned him over and over on our booster tour stops in May at that Rover spot. He has embraced that opportunity as well. And I think our secondary is so talented and so deep. We've got so many guys that can move around, cover man-to-man, while Tony dials up some different looks and blitzes. And his defenses are implemented to put everybody on their heels. I thought at times a year ago, even though, I thought Adam has done an amazing job, and obviously the 23 defense was unreal, and a lot of that was personnel. I thought we were a little reactive at times last year instead of being more aggressive and proactive overall. And so I think therefore is the change. Let's go out and find a defense that can cause issues, create some more turnovers, cause confusion. And with Tony against the 3-3, what is it? 3-3-5, 3-4, 4-3. Nobody knows, and that's a good thing because it's been giving people fits for a number of years now.
Yeah, I do think just watching Nebraska defense the last couple of years, the one thing that'll scream out to anyone who watched them is aggressive attack mode the whole game. Fuller, I think, was a little bit more to the hey, don't let anything over the top, kind of, keep everything in front of you. More of a cover 3 match, situation, which can be very effective if you have the right players in the right positions. Yeah. And like you said, personnel was unbelievable in 2023. So of course, it worked. But I'm a man. I like aggressive defense. I like Nebraska was fun to watch for the last couple of seasons. So I'm really excited to see that new look defense. Vince, do you have any kind of final questions?
No, I think we've covered it pretty well. I apologize for the ongoing issues that I've been having, but my phone came through pretty strong here.
We got to get you an Ethernet cord, Vince.
I am plugged in. I'm telling you.
Can we get a sponsor?
That's what's disturbing.
Can we get an
plugged in.
Vince, or what can we do here, pal?
Let me tell you, if I can't figure it out, I'm probably have to wipe the laptop and start over.
He went year, literally, we've been doing the show 4 or 5 years. It was flawless until the last 3 weeks, and it's just been. And he's tried different browsers, different setups, and it's just the same thing. I feel bad for you, Vince, but we'll figure it out.
The rats in the basement on the wheel down there.
It could be someone's gnawing on some cables outside. Who knows what's going on?
There you go.
But Jeff, we talked a little bit before the show started, and I want to make sure everybody hears this because I like to let people know that Jeff offered to come on the show last year in Ireland when I met him, and that was my fault for not making it happen sooner. But we know how the year went, and but that was last year. But I just want to say, Jeff, thanks for sticking with me and answering the call, answering the X message when I reached out to you. So I really appreciate it,
guys. Anytime. Appreciate
it. Jeff, I was hoping that you can give us a little touchdown Garnet Old, touchdown FSU. Could you do it for us?
Yeah. Let's fire it up here. Let's get it going. Let me see how I can. Let me get something creative for the Alabama game. All right. Okay. Here we go. All right. 3:23 left in the fourth quarter. Alabama leading Florida State 16-13. Third and goal from the 8-yard line. Castellanos back to pass, rolling right under pressure. He's going to take off. He's at the 5. He's at the 4. 3, 2, 1. Touchdown. Touchdown. FSU.
Beautiful. Love it. Appreciate you
very
so much,
nice.
Jeff, for coming on. It was very kind of you to be on. Really excited about the season. Excited to listen to you, as always, be the voice of the Seminoles. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Culhane. Man, good luck this season. I can't wait to hear you.
Thanks for having me and have me back whenever. And as always, go Noles.
Go Noles. Thanks,
go
Jeff.
Noles. Take care.
Thanks.
Appreciate you. All right, Vince, my friend.
Whew.
Struggling with the old AV.
Yeah, just let me tell you, there were a lot of F-bombs radiating through the neighborhood here.
Can I be honest with you, Vince? I have a background in IT. I'm gonna put there's an inside joke that when I need to work troubleshooting instead of just managing, I become Brian Westman instead of Ryan Eastman. So Brian Westman has evaluated the situation in which you have used different browsers, different devices, and had dropouts on all of them. And I have deduced.
Yes, AI.
It's at the network level, Vince. I'm going to say it's at the network level because different devices, different profiles, different applications. The core deficiency here is something going on either with your router, your mesh network, something. That's what my troubleshooting instincts would tell me.
Yeah.
It's at the network level.
Well, I'm going to figure it out because I will not rest until it is figured out. But
Literally.
my problems aside, that was fantastic. And I know we were so locked in there that there were probably a lot of comments flowing by. So
Yeah.
and me doing it on my phone is really tricky, Ryan. So if you can get the comments going, that would be great.
Yeah, honestly, most of them were just to Jeff himself, but I'll shout out a few people. We did have a super chat, so I'm going to cover that first. Carrie Go Noles, thank you so much for during our conversation, giving us almost $10 there for Garnet and Old. I appreciate you, Carrie Go Noles. As always, thanks for being a fan of the show. A few other fans, of course, in the chat: Breeze in Georgia, Peter Shields, Rockin' Knoll, Fatal Jedi, Brett Taylor, Grillmaster, R. Wilmer, all the usual suspects and then some in the chat. And it sounds like based on the comments you guys all enjoyed hearing Jeff Culhane even gave us a touchdown, FSU. We hope that's what happens. Hey, Florida State scoring the game against Alabama. Vince, I don't know how many days away we are now, but it's got to be around 35, something like 38.
I think we're at 44, 43, 44
Yeah,
days.
it feels close. The reason it starts to feel close to me, Vince, is because I start feeling the butterflies a little bit. Like it's not just hypothetical. We're not just thinking about football someday. We're kind of it's getting more real by the day. And as we've gotten through the season, and kudos to Vince, despite his technical flaws, has been a rock star when it comes to scheduling. So, man, what a lineup we've had so far. And Vince, continue. We might have a special guest tomorrow, not tomorrow, the next week on Garnet Old.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I just haven't gotten the final okay that it's going to happen. But if it does happen, I think people are going to be very, very pleased. I mean, almost triple very, very pleased. Very, very, very pleased. And then on the 31st, we're going to have the directors of the Marching Chiefs join the show, Dr. David Plack and Dr. Devin Moore. So we're going to round out the month of July with hopefully some better technology on my side, but at the very least, we're going to have guests that I'm pretty sure people are really going to enjoy.
I do want to bring up Vince. I wanted you to shout this out because Vince was on Rock and Knowles podcast. You want to give a shout out? I know you guys did a whole conversation on cruising. Yes.
Yeah, we did. I was on Jeremy's show a couple nights ago, doing exactly what we're doing. And we had absolutely no problems at all, of course. But yeah, we talked cruising and the magic of cruising. And if you're first of all, if you're not following the Rock and Knoll channel, you should, because it's not just Knoll stuff. He's everywhere and he's visiting things and he's going to events and he takes a vlog and they're awesome. But anyway, go check out that channel. And if you love cruising, we got some nuggets in there about cruising that you could probably use.
And I do want to put an open invite to Jeremy. Come on, Garnet Old sometime. We'd be happy to have you. You bring a lot of knowledge. You were always a guy whenever we're struggling to think of, like, man, what was that person's name? You're in the chat. Boom. Right there. There's the name we need. He's always there. So, Jeremy, you're welcome on the Garnet Old show anytime. You just name the date. We'll bring you on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he and I talked about that. We just need to pick the right time. So,
yeah, and I seem to have we'll talk about this afterwards. I can't get out of studio mode because you're a mobile presenter, apparently. But we're fine with that. We're moving on, as it were. Now, Vince, we're near the end of the show, and I have a random topic. It's the topic du jour. It's the topic du jour today, Vince.
Oh, gosh. I know what this is about. So,
yes.
Let's just get it out.
All right, guys. A PSA. All you married men and women.
There are cameras everywhere, PSA. And I think that's the way you start.
Yeah. Married men and married women. Stop with having your work wives and work husbands. Okay? It won't work out. And what we're talking about is all over the internet today, a CEO of a big company was caught red-handed at a Coldplay concert, which is a toughie, with the head of HR at his own company in a flattering, not so flattering, hugging position until the camera centered on them, in which case they both kind of ducked and covered, very obviously being worried that people would see them. And of course, if they had just pretend like everything was normal, it probably would not have been seen and no one would have cared. But because they did the way they did all over the internet, and both of them are married, and a few people's wives and husbands have taken names off Facebook and all that fun stuff. But the moral of the story is here, gentlemen, if you're going to be dumb, be smart about it. But my recommendation to you is
don't be dumb.
Be loyal to your wife. Be loyal to your husband. If you're not happy in your marriage, get divorced and then find someone. But don't go to a Coldplay concert.
First, don't go to a Coldplay concert.
That's the only moral of the story, in my opinion, is just stay away from Coldplay.
That's right.
But that's a toughie, and I would give anything.
You're doing too much. Not too much of that.
I am working on an HR team right now. What I wouldn't give to be in that team's chat, as Vince loses his connection for the 100th time today, what I wouldn't give to be in the team's channel, the moment that I saw that on social media, and that's like us or your team, I would do anything to be in that team's channel and all the gossip and fun. Vince, it would be incredible. You log in that day and everyone's like, well, hello there.
Well, I don't know
and
about
you know
incredible.
These people? No. When I mean incredible, I mean like unbelievable.
Yeah. Because it's over the internet, you're going to get all the craziness that goes around with that. But, just to wrap this up in a little bit of wisdom, it's really a shame, really. It's really
be faithful.
A shame. Yeah, it's really
Don't
a shame.
go to Coldplay concerts.
That's right. Do not go to Coldplay concerts.
Other random topic, Vince, and this is more of a small one. The hurricane season, I'm not going to jinx it here. I know we had a little moisture this past weekend. Nothing major. Just a little moisture. No storm or anything. But I'm calling out. Vince, man, is having problems. I'm calling out something, guys. I think it's I'm going to call this suspicious. Now, I've lived in Florida my entire life, Vince, and you're back.
Yeah.
I've lived in Florida my entire life. The last 2 years, including this year, very odd hurricane seasons. And what I mean by that is up until middle October last year, it was like we were like nothing. The hurricane season's been nothing. Right. And then we got like 2 hurricanes like within like a month. But then it was over. So like storm count wise, total storm count, it was significantly short last year. And now I'm sitting here and I'm like, we're getting late in July and there's nothing. Now, I don't think it has anything. The waters are as warm as ever. And I know there's patterns and it fits. But I'm calling out Mother Nature. What's going on? Is there something that we need to, are we all going to die next month? Is there some kind of shift in the currents? Because Vince, living in Florida as long as I have, and you too, usually late May or June, you have like 4 tropical storms. Maybe don't hit anything.
Yeah, you've done it now.
Out there.
You've done it now. So congratulations. You have fired up. The weather gods. I'm
just saying, get together. We're used to tracking stuff by now. And do you not find it odd that 2 years in a row we've gotten like to August sometimes without anything? Not even a sniff. It's weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. But I mean, other things are happening weather-wise that are abnormal as well, right?
Right. So, that's what I'm saying. There's something. Yeah. There's something sus going on, and
yeah,
it could be,
you're the conspiracy guy. It's the shifting of the magnetic pole.
It could be that. It could be that whole flood situation. If you believe in conspiracies, you want to believe in cloud forming, weather modification. Mm-hmm. But all I'm saying is,
get it together.
When you live your whole life in one place, and you say, I've never not seen multiple by this point, like 4, sometimes 3 or 4 out, like one's in the Atlantic, one's in the Caribbean, one's in the Gulf, and they're just kind of hanging out there, and they just spin off, and some don't even hit anything. But usually we're just like, we got an eye on it.
Yeah, it's weird.
And then you got the
for
random
sure.
floods rising 38 feet in 30 minutes, and you're just like, well, that doesn't seem like a normal event either. So I just got 2 fingers to my eyes, 2 fingers to yours weather patterns. I'm watching you. It's weird.
It's weird. Yeah, I don't have anything on that. I'm happy to not have to be preparing for a storm. I tell you that. So
Tomcat writes because of the Mag Lab in Tallahassee. Could be.
well,
Maybe they've turned it on high.
listen,
And,
when things
yeah.
are really going south, I'm going to go over to the Mag Lab. I'm going to strap myself to the building because nothing of negative consequence happens around that facility.
Yeah. I want to speak to this, Brett Taylor. Ryan has opened up a political can of worms, just waiting on theorists to spout off. So here's the thing. Vince and I are very much logical, level-headed guys. Like, we're not too extreme on anything, really. We're pretty, like, we want everyone to get along and we love people. I feel like that's our political agenda, is that we want everyone to be getting along and at least have common sense.
Everybody's a human being, deserves that.
But I think Vince and I also share that no matter how crazy the conspiracy theory is, even if we don't believe it, we want to hear it.
I want to talk about it for sure because I want to dig in. So yeah, for sure.
Someone could come to me right now and say that it's slow because they're waiting all their generators in the month of September because of some stock price or something. And I wouldn't say you're an idiot, shut up. I would say, tell me more about
Tell
this.
me more. Tell me more.
I want. And in my head, I'm thinking this doesn't make sense, but I want to hear the entertainment. So I'm as crazy as conspiracies you guys can think about. I want to talk for 2 hours about it, and then go to bed saying that was dumb.
Maybe it's time for another conspiracy show.
Yeah, that would be fun. Garnet and conspiracy would be a hell of a show. But guys, I think we're wrapping up. Fun show. Jeff Culhane, mystery guest potentially next week, or you just end up with Jeremy.
I'm hoping.
I don't know.
I'm hoping, man.
My hope is that you get the guest, Vince, and then you say, what was the reason you decided to come? And then you cut off, and then you drop.
Yeah, right. Tell me about the most important, and I'm gone.
Yeah, you're Jim Halper in the. All right, I'm going to tell you how to fix it.
Right.
And you'll be
I'm telling
fine.
you, people. I know you're out there laughing at my pain, but my blood's boiling right now. You can't. Hopefully, I'm hiding it. Hopefully, I'm like Jeff, and I can, like, even though things are going sour, I can still put on the brave face.
Yeah, your eyes a little sassy, and your neck tight.
Yeah.
But it's been great, guys. Again, we're gonna go with Garnet and Old. No inside info, no problem, because this month we've had some contacts on.
We've got problems too, though.
So it's just no inside info.
That's right.
Garnet and Old, no inside info, go Noles, and send Chiefs all the damn times. I mean, that says it all, right, Vince?
It does. Send Chiefs all the damn time. And as soon as I get confirmation on next week's guest, I will put it out there. And I think people, like I said, we're going to be super excited.
Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you next week. Go Noles.
Go Noles.